Will do.
Ah, Tahar. Never mind.
Something on your mind?
Well, maybe. Remember when you asked me about Rain, the other gifted shaman from my tribe?
Yeah? What about it?
I want to talk about it. I'm not supposed to, but I don't know. I trust you, Tahar, and I've kept silent about this for far too long. Zarek's fangs, this is so silly. I feel like a damn child.
Gore, just spit it out already.
Right. Where do I start? Before becoming a shaman, every disciple has to go through a trial. The Iron Trial, as it's called. I told you that I did most of my training in solitude, didn't I? That wasn't true. 5 years after I entered disciplehood, another orc was accepted by my elder. A female named Rain. She was 2 years younger than me.
How did you get along?
Well, at first, I was a complete dick to her. I was jealous and feared for my position. However, she never took offense by it. She fired back at me when I got childish, but at the same time never lowered herself to my level. As the years went by, we became friends. And no, there was no courting or mating involved, if that's what you're thinking. She was more like a sister to me, and one who, unlike my true kin, understood me. Those years in the Orcish steppes, they were special. We spent days, weeks out in the wild, doing whatever our elder tasked us with. And though it was hard, there was beauty in that. We just had this connection between us, this trust.
Sounds like friendship to me.
Yeah, friendship. I never had a connection like that again, and I rarely talk about it. One time I did. The orc I told it to laughed right in my face. He thought it was ludicrous, a male spending time with a female who wasn't his mate. He stopped laughing when I broke his nose.
But something happened, am I right?
Yeah, the trial did. The sacred test every disciple has to take before he or she can become a shaman. Our elder sent us both at the same time, which was unusual. But of course I was relieved. There was plenty of talk about the Iron Trial, and I was scared.
How did Rain feel about it?
Same as I. Believe me, Tahar, only a fool would have entered into the trial with a smug smile on his face. We knew what was ahead of us.
So what happened?
Zarek's fangs. I can't believe I'm telling you this. I'm breaking my oath.
Don't do anything you'd regret later.
I won't. We weren't told much about the trial. Only that we'd have to venture to a cave, far up in Barga Gore. They also didn't tell us how to get there. Only that Zarek would guide us. And he did. After a week of traveling, we found it. It was a strange place, Tahar. I saw that right from the beginning. The entrance looked like a mouth, the rocks surrounding it like the bones of an old forgotten beast, and the stalagmites like hundreds of teeth. But of course, we went in. We had to.
What did you find?
A giant hall. It was as mesmerizing as it was unsettling. There were murals and carvings all over the cave walls. Old glyphs that I'd never seen before.
Shaper glyphs, maybe.
No, not Shaper. They looked as if the Guardians themselves had carved them into the rock.
Interesting. What else was there?
Nothing. That's what baffled me. Apart from those murals, the hall was completely empty. And for some reason, the ground in that hall was completely smooth, like polished stone. There were braziers, one in each corner of the hall, and they were burning brightly. Rain was as confused as I was. But nonetheless, we entered the hall. And that's when the trouble began. Because all of a sudden, the exit was gone. No magical noise, nothing. Just in that moment when we looked the wrong direction, it disappeared. And instead of it, we were looking at another wall.
Strange. What did you do?
Well, after we calmed down a little, we assessed our situation. We figured that this was the Iron Trial, and that it was our task to find another exit. So we started looking. But it was pointless. There was nothing. We couldn't even hear the wind anymore. For the next 14 days, we were trapped. We couldn't make that wall disappear, and no matter how long we studied the glyphs, how long we prayed, nothing happened. On the 5th day, our provisions had come to an end, save for half a skin of water and a handful of jerky. On the 8th day, it was all gone.
Blazes. How did you survive?
I'm getting there. As you can imagine, the thirst was the worst. It drove us mad, and we searched every corner of that goddamn hall for just a drop of water. Not that we hadn't looked before, but as you know, hope dies last. Have you ever had thirst, Tahar? Real thirst?
No.
And hope it stays that way. I'd rather bleed out on a pole than experience that again. On the 11th day, Rain and I were puking our guts out. Our skin had literally started to crack, and I felt as if I was burning from within. On the 12th day, we were only an inch from death. That's when the dream came.
A dream?
Yes, a shared dream, almost like a vision. We were still in that hall, Rain and I, but we were out of our bodies, floating like spirits. At first I thought we had died, then I saw what was different. The floor was full of blood, and that blood was burning. The murals and glyphs had started moving, twisting, like shadows dancing on a wall. That's when I first understood what they were depicting. For some reason in the real world, I'd never been able to.
What did they depict?
It showed what was expected from us, what we had to do to get out. Sorry this isn't easy. I've dreamed about those weeks ever since. But telling someone, it feels bizarre. Zarek demanded a fight. Either one of us died by the hands of the other, or we would die there together. The Iron Trial. We were never both meant to pass.
So you fought each other?
No. Trial or not, I would have rather died than done that. And that's precisely what I told Rain. A god that demands a man to kill his own sister is not a god that deserves worship by anyone. But Rain wouldn't have it. She claimed that if both of us died, both of our lives would be wasted for nothing. I got angry and asked her if she meant that she wanted to fight me. She said no.
I don't understand.
She wanted me to kill her. She told me that she was already too weak to make it down the mountain anyway, but that I could still make it. Believe me, Tahar, if there had been any strength left in me, I would have punched her just for suggesting it.
And yet, you're here.
I am. I should have known before she even did it. She always had to have it her way, no matter the price. It happened when I was asleep. She took my dagger from its sheath, put it into my hand, and drove it through her throat without hesitation. When I opened my eyes, her blood was already all over my face. And as if Zarek had been watching all along, the wall disappeared. No noise. Just like that. The wind was back, and it was raining outside. The first time in months. I like to think that she saw it before she died.
Did you make the descent?
I did. There were berries in a mountain goat that had been hit by a rock slide, right next to the exit. It was so absurd I almost had to laugh. When I got back to the Elder's shack, I screamed at him, then broke down and started to cry. He just listened. In the end, he told me that we had both known what had been at stake. Yet we agreed. Choice and consequence. He made me a shaman the next day.
I see.
There's one more thing. Remember when you asked me why I feel the way I do about our culture? Why I think we orcs should strive for more? It's Rain who made me realize that. Most orcs would have fought each other in that cave, to the death. But she didn't. Instead of submitting to her primal instincts, she made a sacrifice. One that I could have made too, if I hadn't been such a coward. Blazes, it feels strange to have told you all this. But, I don't regret it.
Well, thanks for trusting me with this, Gore.
Let me have some time for myself right now, all right? I need to think.
Tahar, ready to discuss the next steps?
All right, let's discuss what comes next. I'll go get the others.
Good.
Good. Now that you're all here, I'd like to plan how we proceed. As...
Tahar, I think you should allow yourself some more rest. You were in a coma for more than a month, and we still don't know what that melding actually did to you.
Isn't it obvious? It made him more powerful.
Yeah, but where does that power come from? What effect does it have on the human body or the psyche? We don't know.
It doesn't matter if I'm alright or not. We can't waste any more time.
Fine. Then go on.
Thank you. So, our objective is clear. We need to defeat the Purity of Light and save my mother. Angar, am I right to assume that Lacane made Greykeep his new base of operations?
Correct. It's the center of his power, which is both good and bad. It's bad because Greyfell was built to withstand any kind of ambush.
And why is it good?
Because it also means if we succeed and reconquer Greyfell, we'll cut off the snake's head. Once we kill Lacane, the Purity will fall. However, there's no point in fooling ourselves. That battle for Greyfell will be bloody, and if we want to have even the slightest chance of winning, we need to join the remaining houses.
Ultran, Hallet, and Wulfgar.
Yes. If we put this army together with theirs, we might stand a chance. Also, you should see if you can strengthen the alliances you already have, Tahar. I have a plan regarding that, so we can talk further once this meeting has been concluded.
So do I.
Alright, so where do we start?
It's up to you. But before we can even think about arranging a conclave between the houses, we need to break that spell the Harbinger put on my sister Myra. Isgrin, any ideas?
Actually, it should be simple. We need to find the one controlling her, take the rune, and, well, destroy it in the forge.
And who is controlling her? What if it's the Harbinger himself?
I doubt it. The manipulator has to be physically close to his subject, so it'll most likely be someone in Lady Myra's army. But your rune will react to another rune's presence, so once that person is near, you'll feel it.
Good. Then I have a plan. The Harbinger has taken up position in Iskander, between the Utran and the Everlight border. You know that place, Tahar. It's where your father started his rebellion, and where Sentenza almost captured you.
The Loyalist camp. So what's your plan?
We strike in full force and take the castle. He'll be forced to initiate a counterattack, and my sister's armies, the Utran army, will be the closest ones at hand.
A bait.
Yes, we hold the castle against the main army, whereas you, Tahar, and a small troop get behind enemy lines. You find the rune carrier and strike from the shadows. Obviously, you'll have to act quick. We can't hold against the entire Utran army forever.
What if killing the rune carrier won't break the mind control?
We'll just have to hope that doesn't happen.
Alright. So we take over the castle, wait for the Utran armies to cross the border, sneak behind their lines, and eliminate the rune carrier. And once Lady Myra is freed, we will try to gain the support of House Hallet and House Wulfgar.
Yes, though we'll need to take care of something else before that. But let's discuss this when the time comes.
Agreed. One more thing. This will be dangerous, and our original mission has been completed. In other words, if any of you are thinking of leaving, now is the time. Well, then we best get prepared now. I'll tell you when we head out.
Understood. Tahar, I'd also like to talk with you if you have a moment.
Corporal Tahar. A word, if you will?
Who are you?
Private Miller, Corporal. I'm from the Royal Army and came here with the Lord Marshal. We've captured someone who we suspect belongs to the Purity. He was seen in the deserted village outside this city, and he looks suspicious. He claims to be a simple courier sent to deliver a message to you, but we didn't want to take any risks. He's outside, near the entrance to the caves.
I see. Thank you, soldier. Dismissed.
Corporal?
Got it. You said that you have an idea on how we can get more allies to fight the Purity.
Yes, I do. It's someone you're already familiar with. At least, according to your friend Iria. The Iron Falcons.
You want to convince them to join our troops?
Not all of them, obviously. The Field Dog are an even greater threat than the Purity, even if most people nowadays have almost forgotten about them. What I suggest is that we strike a bargain with them. They give us a small division of their elite keepers, and we provide them with twice the amount of footmen and maybe engineers to make up for it.
Engineers and infantry for a handful of knights. Is that really worth it?
It is. The Falcons aren't only excellent fighters. Their presence will also inspire our soldiers. They're living legends.
All right, it's worth a try. When do we set out?
Whenever you want. Thanks to these Godstones, it won't take us long to get there, so I'm not expecting this mission to cost us more than a day, 2 at most. We should probably take some troops with us, just in case the canyon is still unsafe.
Fair enough. I'll let you know when we go.
Good.
You said you know where we can find more allies.
Yes I do. I'll make it short. The Ash Reavers have invaded the foot of Barga Gor. If we defeat them and their leader, like we defeated Krell, their soldiers will join us.
The Ash Reavers? I'm guessing that's another orc tribe.
Yes, you already met them, back at Farland's Hope. They are a very violent tribe, a lot like what Krell wanted the Fire Wielders to become. And they are nomads. They never stay in one place for more than a couple of moons, which is why their city is basically a movable fortress.
So, we head back to Barga Gor and defeat them. Sounds simple enough.
Well, yeah, except for one thing. Kagan, the Ash Reavers chieftain. I think this invasion is about more than gaining new territory. It's personal. He despises me, and that's putting it lightly.
Why? Because you killed Krell?
No, it's more complicated than that. Do you remember the story about my trial? About Rain?
Yeah, I do. You took the Shapeshifter's trial together, and she sacrificed herself so that you could live.
Yeah, she did. To get to the point, Kagan is Rain's true brother. To this day, he thinks that I killed her.
I see. And that's why he invaded Barga Gor.
It must be. Bloodthirsty as the Ash Reavers are, there is no reason for them to start a war with the Fire Wielders, especially now that we unify them. He must have heard that I'm behind this, and that rekindled his hatred for me. In other words, we need to stop him, and as fast as possible. According to one of my sources, the Purity is also planning to start an attack on Barga Gor. The Fire Wielders should be able to hold them at bay, but not if they have to wage war against the Ash Reavers at the same time.
So what's the plan? Return to Barga Gor, drive back the Ash Reavers, and kill Kagan?
If all else fails, yes, we will kill him, for the sake of my people, and for our cause. But he's Rain's last living kin, so I want to first try reasoning with him instead. There must be a way to convince him that I'm not a liar, that I didn't kill his sister.
All right. I'll tell you when we head out.
Yes, Chieftain Czar already left before you woke up to get an idea of the situation. I know time is sparse, but we should leave as soon as possible. And thank you, Tahar. I appreciate it.
Ah, Tahar. Good of you to come by.
Sure. You wanted to talk?
Yes. I'll be brief. While you were asleep, an elven messenger came by. Varden Merilith, one of the Moorhere scryers from Leafshade, sent him.
Merilith? What did he want?
Only that he needed your help. They, that is, he and a couple of his followers, seem to be somewhere deep in the Leafshade jungle, near the Haalayash ruins.
The old Hibernian city. But what do they want there? That's dangerous.
I don't know, Tahar. We will need to find out.
All right. We might look into this.
We should. Is there anything else you wish to discuss, Tahar?
Another one. How often do you want me to tell you? I'm not a spy, and I'm not with Purity.
Wait! You're their leader, aren't you? Corporal Tahar!
Yes?
Well, then maybe you can tell these fools to let me go. Blazes, I knew it was stupid to take that job.
So, who are you? And what were you doing in Farland's Hope?
As I told this bloody brute who captured me, I'm just a courier, and someone paid me to deliver a message to a Corporal Tahar. I had no idea it was the Corporal Tahar, and had I known, I would have told that guy who gave me the job to sod off.
Who was it?
Well, he was wearing a hood, so he obviously didn't want to be recognized, but he had a brown beard, was about your height, and had, I don't know how to put it, a certain sadness in his eyes.
But he didn't look dangerous and paid good coin, so I took it.
Can I see this message?
Oh, finally, someone who asks. Yes, it's in my coat pocket, and no, there's no poison in there to kill you.
Let me see. A meeting in Everlight. From a friend.
A friend, you see? Can I go now?
Yes. Go.
Thank you, Corporal. Thank you. Now, don't get me wrong, but I want to get out of here as soon as possible. Do you think your guards will let me through?
They will. Stay safe.
I'll try.
Yes? Understood.
So you made it after all. Not bad.
You didn't think I would?
No. That sleep you were in, I didn't feel that there was any life left in you. But then again, you always were damn hard to kill to begin with. That new energy inside you, though, that's a different story.
So you can feel it?
Oh, that's like standing in front of a bonfire and being asked if you can feel the heat. Yes, Tahar, I can. Anyway, in case you're here to ask, we're staying.
So, you'll help me fight the Purity?
You make it sound as though this thing is somehow your responsibility. It isn't. That fanatic, with his idiotic stories of the All-Father's return, is out for all of us. Especially the orcs, or the other members of the dark races. So yeah, the Fire Wielders will stay.
That's good news. Thanks, Gore.
Don't mention it. Anything else?
Let's see. I'll be off.
Everything has an end.
I understand.
Fair enough. Let's do this.
When the sun shines onto the turquoise marble of old Haalayash, it is difficult not to admire the greatness of what was once the largest Hibernian city on Io. Only the story of its creation may dampen an explorer's enthusiasm. Like most Hibernian cities, it was built on the backs of slaves.
Look, up ahead. I think that's them.
Not saying you are wrong, but maybe now wasn't the best time to cause turmoil among your people, don't you think?
There was no way I could have known this would happen.
Maybe not. Maybe you could have. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Seems your allies have arrived. You're Tahar, aren't you? Silverhand is pleased to meet you.
Careful, Tahar. This man's aura is overwhelming.
It is indeed, but that doesn't mean he wants to harm you.
Who are you?
Just call him Silverhand. Most people do. He's a friend of the elves, you might say. Particularly of the brown blood Moorhere kind. And he's here because his friend Varden Merilith told him they had gotten themselves into trouble once again. Arlen Finrior, the first scryer of Lathwen, has disappeared.
Ran off? I think that's a better way to put it. But let's talk in the outpost. Follow me.
All right. So, where do we begin? The corruption hit again, harder than before.
But why? We cleaned the pools, didn't we?
You did, yes. But as it turns out, that was only temporary. After you left, the corruption came back with a vengeance. So far, we have lost over a dozen hunters to it. Then, one night, Arlen Finrior ran off, just like that.
Why would he do that?
Well, he left a note. To cure the corruption.
There's more to it, though. Silverhand hasn't told Varden yet, but he can feel it.
I see. So you're here to find Arlen, is that it? And that's what you need our help for?
Yes, despite Silverhand and his mages, the jungle turns out far more perilous than anticipated. There's corrupted, there's those beasts, and there's purity, as they like to style themselves. Silverhand would call them self-important blockheads.
So what do you need us to do?
The same you did in Leafshade. Find the cause of the corruption and end it. And of course, find Arlen if he's still alive. If we don't settle that matter, we don't have a choice but order the troops we provided you with back to us.
Not to mention that the corruption might spread, which, after this land just lived through the Bloodburn, would be an unfortunate development indeed.
Any idea what the Purity is doing here?
None. They seem to be peaceful, as far as that can ever be said about them. Maybe you'll find out.
All right. I'll scout the jungle for traces of Arlen and the source of the corruption. You stay here and make sure your camp is safe.
Good to hear. Thank you, Tahar. I mean it. We'll hold our position.
Though Silverhand might reach out to you every now and then. We shall see.
Fair enough. Stay safe. Yes?
Just give the word.
Fascinating. Together with Lacane's masked priest, this is the second Dreamweaver I've seen in less than a moon.
I take it there aren't many.
Among humans, elves, and orcs, no. The Dark Elves have their own psychic elite units, but that is a different story.
Blazes! That's a lot of them!
Tahar, Silverhand has felt something shift. What's happening?
Abominations! Help us!
Yes?
Control. Need control.
Tiara's breath. That was close.
They appeared to be coming from the south. Maybe that is where we should look for the corruption then. What do you require?
Ellen's raids. Did you see that?
The fog killed them. Could that be?
The center of the corruption. Yes, it could be. It emanates the same magical signatures as the pools in Leafshade.
Then this must be where it started. The wind must have spread it all the way to Lithuanian. That's interesting.
Tahar? Silverhand just sensed something. Death. Are you all right?
I am. We found the source of the corruption. At least, I think so. We'll head back to your camp now.
Oh, excellent.
Was that Silverhand?
It was. Got it.
Silverhand said you found the cause of the corruption. Is that true?
I think so. There's a thick, reddish mist spreading all across the middle of the jungle. It kills whoever walks into it.
Any sign of Arlen?
I'm afraid not. But we saw purity in the jungle. They seem to be oblivious to what the mist does.
Silverhand sees. Well, they are not our priority right now. The purity will be dealt with once we've cleared the corruption. Be that as it may, it seems they are not getting anywhere without clearing up that mist.
Maybe there's something you and your winter mages could do about it?
No. No, Silverhand cannot. But he thinks there's someone who can.
You don't sound too happy about it.
Yes, well, he is a complicated character, and that's putting it mildly. He's a priest of Nor.
A dark elf?
Yes, but save for him, Silverhand can't think of anybody who could help us otherwise. You'll need to find him and bring him here. He lives in the old monastery.
The old monastery. What's that?
You don't know. It was once an old cloister devoted to the Guardians, but it burned down in the War of the Six Races. It's deserted now, save for a few pilgrims and devoted priests who still live there.
So I'm guessing you want me to go there and convince that seer to come here.
Wraith. His name is Wraith. But yes, that is what he would ask you to do. Silverhand knows you've traveled far already, but unless you know another way to deal with that mist, Wraith seems to be our only option.
All right, I'll try.
I'm ready. I'll make it quick.
Not now.
Is there anything you need?
I'm
As you
injured.
require.
They won't stand a chance.
What is it? Interesting.
Once an imposing monument to the Guardians, the old monastery was destroyed by a tribe of orcs during the War of the Six Races. Though plans to restore it to its former glory have been voiced by the Crown ever since, it remains a ruin to this day. Instead, every Guardian's clergy pledged to send one priest to the monastery to tend to the pilgrims who still travel there in search of serenity. Or some
Okay, according to the map, the old monastery should be up ahead. We need to find this wraith, and we need to do it fast. Who knows how fast this corrupted fog will spread.
I couldn't agree more.
Will do.